Hello, this is Fabio M. Silva for CG Touch Plus. Okay, so I'm going to change my rendering system to scanline. Make sure this is on, or at least that it is equal to scanline. And we'll start to build our shader now. We have a turbos mode here, which actually I think we can change to render 2 iterations, and on viewport I'm gonna put on 0 just for speed's sake, to make my viewport faster. Well, it doesn't really slow down things, but on a heavy scene sometimes it can really hurt you. Okay, so to change this, the reason we are not seeing the cornea right now, it is there, but we are not seeing it because I've set it to be hidden. So I'm going to click here, polygons, and I'm going to unhide it, which is here in the Edit Geometry tab. Unhide all. Bang, it showed up. So this is the cornea. So why have I hidden the cornea? The reason behind this is that it's difficult to aim the eyes or see where they are pointed if we have the cornea on. It's not so easy as selecting the cornea. I've selected elements to pick up the cornea element, and to have it hidden. See, it's easier to see where this is pointing than the actual cornea. Actually, we are going to do this in 2 ways. We are going to build the material in a single editable poly, and we are going to have it also on separate objects. So I'm going to do the first way, the easier way, which is to have 2 separate objects. So I'm going to unhide it again. Okay, I'm going to select by element the cornea, and I'm going to detach it. I'm going to detach the cornea from this mesh, because right now it's a single mesh. I'm going to press detach. I'm going to name this cornea underscore mesh. We have 2 options here, detach to element and detach as clone. I'm leaving it as I want because I don't want to detach it as neither an element or as a clone. So I'm going to click OK. So now we have 2 different meshes, but there's a problem. Right now, if I render this, I don't know if you can see. Oh yes, you can see it very clearly. I guess you can see it very clearly. The cornea mesh is all very low poly, while the eye mesh is kind of good and neat. The reason to this is when you click detach, you don't copy over your modifiers. So I'm going to click undo really quickly, and as you can see, I'm going to click. Actually, as you cannot see, I'm going to click as an object properties, display as box. So my cornea now turns into a box to make it possible to see this. So if you see, we have here a modifier here, which we don't have in this one because we've detached it. So when it detaches an object from another, the modifiers aren't copied over. So I'm going to copy this really quickly, copy, and I'm going to paste this here. Well, I can paste it as an instance. So every change I make in one, I make in the other. So I'm going to click here, and as you can see, it changed the both of them. But I don't want this. I want it to be 0. And in rendering, it will be 2. So when it renders all smooth. So I'm going to my material editor, where we will build our shader. And the way to do this is to go to Rendering tab, Material Editor, or M in your keyboard, which I use a lot. All the time. I just press M and it bam, it shows up. As you can see, I already have some materials I've been testing previously, and I already have my initial cornea material, but we're going to build a new one. So when it's like this, an empty material, come here, and I'm going to name this material as a cornea material. Okay, it's going to be a standard type material, and actually I'm going to put this here so we can see it a little better. I'm gonna change this. Actually, I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to decrease the opacity to 0. So now it's fully transparent. It doesn't render at all. If I assign this like this, or drag it over like this, when I render, you will see that I don't see the cornea, I just see the eyeball. But if I increase this to 100, and I'm going to put the color different, you just see the cornea, we don't see the eyeball. Okay, so since the cornea is very transparent, I'm going to start with a value of 10. You can start to see here, it barely shows up, but it's there, and it's purple. See, it's have a slight tints of that color, but I don't want that. I want the cornea to be white. Okay, very simply. Now what I'm going to do is give it a little specular. So I'm going to increase this specular a lot, 200 whatever. But right now it's too large, so I'm going to make it a lot smaller. Still strong, but smaller. This is smoothing. You can see it smooths out the highlight. I don't want that, so I'm going to leave it as it was. Now when I render out, it starts looking like an eye. Let's save this really quickly. Okay, so we have now our cornea material. What we can do too is start playing with the opacity and adding maps to the opacity. I'm gonna choose a fell-off material. As you can see, it kind of gets an interesting result where black is transparent and white is opaque. So this means everything that is perpendicular to the camera or parallel will be either black or white, or opaque or transparent. So this means that the cornea will be more opaque over here and more transparent here. Actually it doesn't seem really different, so I'm going to change this a little bit here. Okay, now you can really see the difference. You can get some really interesting results with this. You can even fake some subsurface scattering if you use it wisely. Or you can use a Fresnel, which is more like the actual eye is, I guess. I'm going to change this to white. Well, see these little It's not that the cornea is all opaque in these areas, but it might look good, just so you know. You can use this. Sometimes you can get interesting results with it. But I'm going to turn this off. Okay. Okay, so we have now the cornea material, which we will improve slowly. We'll add bumps and everything later on. Right now I'm going to pick up my eye mesh. Actually, my eyeball mesh. And we are going to build the eyeball material. Okay. Okay, so I start building the eyeball material, and I'm going to edit the map into my diffuse channel. So we go here, click this checkbox here, go to bitmap, because we are using a JPEG, so it's a bitmap. I'm gonna choose my bitmap, CG Tuts Plus, maps, and here we have the eye diffuse we created in the last chapter. Here it is. I'm gonna open it, and I'm going to open here a new bigger window. I'm going to assign it to my eyeball mesh, and I'm going to click here to show it in the viewport. Okay, now it's much better. You can still see the cornea here, and you can see the eye, which already has some little bumps we created on the texture. I'm gonna render this, and voila, the bitmap was assigned to the mesh. But we can improve this a lot better. Start things off, I'm going to copy my eye diffuse to my bump, and I'm going to copy this as a copy. I don't want this to be instanced because I can play with the values. Well, it doesn't seem like much now, but if I crank this up to 999, you will see the difference. See? Very harsh bump. Or negative 999, which is the opposite. So the bumps work like the opacity, but what is black is carved in, and what is white is carved out. So I'm going to put a light here just to show this better. I'm going to build a little light here. Okay, I'll put this a little here. The shadows, okay. So hopefully you can see a little better. Whoa, okay, now that's something that I wasn't predicting. That's some really unpredictable stuff. Wow. So I'm going to put this 999. Actually, it's kind of strange. Let me just check this for a minute. Okay. For some reason, we better select our cornea, right click, and object properties, and we'll just we'll change the receive and cast shadows off for a minute. See if yeah, it was that. Okay, so do that so we don't get those unpredictable results. Okay, I'm going to put the bump a little lower so it makes more sense. It's not like the eye is like a piece of rock or something. Okay, so we have now our eye with some bump. I hope, yeah, we have little bumps here and there. What we are going to do next is going back to Photoshop to change our eye texture map we did and turn it into a bump map. On the following video, we will create a gradient map that will control the bump and other attributes, which is also possible to use for animation.